Assalamualaikum students, I hope you all are doing well. Today we are starting exercise number 2.3. So let's start with the question number 1, which is that write each radical expression in exponential notation and exponential into radical. So first let's see what is radical and exponential. Radical, let's say you have this kind of expression in which you have any real number here inside this radical. This a is any number, real number, and n is a integer which is greater than 1. N is any number, any integer which is greater than 1. Then this whole form, this is called a radical, right? This is radical expression. And in this radical expression, I've written some other examples too. These are also radical expressions. And why do we call them radical expression? I'm sure that you are familiar with this square root, right? We call it square root, and we know that if I have a number here, let's say 3, and if I write it in the form of power, right? So the power of 3 will be 1 by 2, because the square root is equals to 1 by 2. Now what is difference in this radical and square root? Now let's say here we have a power that is already given here outside the square root. Let's say it be 4. Then if I write it in the form of power, then the power of 3 will be 1 by 4 now, right? So this power here is called index, right? This power here is called index. And now it's not a square root, now we will call it a radical. This is 4 is index, and square root is sorry, not square root, now this is a radical. Here you have some other examples of radicals. Now let's get back to the questions. First question is, we have a radical expression and we're going to convert it to exponential expression, because in question they have asked you to convert radical into exponential, and each exponential expression into radical. If they have given you radical, we will convert it to exponential, and if they have given you exponential form, then you will convert it to the radical form. So let's start with the part 1, in which we have radical minus 64 and the index is 3. So we know that in exponential form, now the power will be, or exponent will be 1 over 3, and that's it. Because they've asked you to not simplify, the simplification is not required, so you won't simplify it. Now let's see the part 2, in which we have 3 by 5. This 3 by 5 is the power of 2. So it means we are given exponential expression, and we will convert it to a radical expression. So first let's write it as 2 raised to the power 3 into 1 over 5, or let's add another step so that you can understand. So I'm gonna write it 3 into 1 over 5. I can write it as 3 into, is this power 3 by 5 as 3 into 1 by 5. And the reason is that I need this uh, form 1 over the power, because that would become the index in radical expression. So now this 2 raised to the power 3 will be here, and I know that I can write 1 over 5 as this radical, right? So I'm gonna write it as this radical expression. So let's do another example, so in order to make it a little bit more clear to you people. The next question, we have minus 7 and the power is 1 by 3. Here we already have 1 over 3, so we can directly write it to the radical form. Minus 7 will remain as it is, and here we will put the radical, and we know the index is 3. It's not 1 by 3. The power that you have in denominator, in numerator it should be 1, and in denominator it can be any integer greater than 1. It can be 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, right? So this denominator will become the index. If it is 2 by 3, then you can't write it as 3 only. That 2 will remain here in the power, as we did in the part 2. We had 2 raised to the power 3 over 5. We only needed 1 over the integer, right, to in order to write it in radical form. So we separated 1 by 5, and 1 by 5 was written as radical with index 5, and this 3 remain inside. So just do the other, practice the other parts of this question. Now let's move to the question number 3. Question number 3 is that simplify the following radical expressions. Now they have asked you, they've given the radical expressions and they're asking you to simplify them. Right, in the previous one we just needed to write them, but now we're going to simplify them. So let's simplify here. Minus 125 raised to the power 1 by 3, because when I will write it in exponential form it will be 1 over 3, because we write 1 over 3 as just radical with index 3. So when we write in exponential it would become 1 over 3. Now 125 can be written as, if I take its LCM, we can write it as 5 into 5. This minus will remain here, into 5. Okay, 1 over 3. Now here 5 can be written as 5 raised to the power 3, because when the numbers or anything is being multiplied or similar variables are multiplied, their powers are added. So here we have 5, 5, 5, and each 5 has a power of 1, and they are multiplied, so their powers will be added, and we will get 5 raised to the power 3, and here raised whole power is 1 by 3. So we know that the power of power, when we have a power and there is another power outside the brackets, so those powers are multiplied. So here minus 5 raised to the power 3 will be multiplied by this 1 over 3, and this 3 and 3 will be cancelled, and we will get only minus 5. So we have simplified this radical expression. So let's just simplify another expression here. Here we have so let's write it in exponential form. It will be 3 over 32 raised to the power 1 by 5. And now 32, if I take its LCM, it will be 2 into 2 into 2. Let's just do it here so that you know how I'm writing it in the powers of 2, but I'm sure that you are familiar with this part. Okay, let's do it. 2 ones are 2, and 2 6 are 12, 2 8s are 16, 2 4s are 8, then again 2 2s are 4, and then 2 1s are 2. So here 32, if I write it in the form of factors, then 32 comes out to be 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 5 times 2. So that's what I did here. I wrote 2 5 times, right, in place of 32, and power will remain as it is. Now this 2 can be written as it's being multiplied, and 5 times the powers will be added, and we will get 2 raised to the power 5, and the whole power is 1 by 5. And this whole power 1 by 5 means it's the power of this 3 as well as the power of this 2 raised to the power 5. So let's just write it with both of these into 1 by 5. This 5 will be cancelled, and now 3 raised to the power 1 by 5, if I write it in radical form, it will become 3, and here the index will be 5 over 2 has no power now, its power is 1. So that's all. Okay, we have solved it. We have just simplified this radical expression. So that's all we have for today. Thank you very much.